Hi, this is Sherry Veronica, and with me on radio is Victor Callender. And we wanted to touch bases since it's hindsight now. It happened on June 10th. Today is June 14th, and we just wanted to, let's dot the I's and cross the T's and talk about what we see and how other bloggers may have seen that, what you call it, organized disorganization. Welcome into the
Yep.
studio, Victor. Go ahead and say to the people what you want to say.
Yeah. Good afternoon in Barbados to all Barbadians, friends, family. I hope everybody is safe and good. Yeah, June the 10th was a red herring across the trail. Organized disorganization and people intending to play the blame game for reasons of political gain. Um, This issue has been raised by Barbadians on the ground, more especially the specifics of this blog, Sherry Veronica's blog. 5 years ago, when we started talking about predators and establishing a registry for predators and seeking justice for children and stuff like that. Before that, the Democratic Labour Party, or about that time, same time, the Democratic Labour Party instituted a system that they wanted to fold out, but they weren't actually able to bring it to fruition to solve the dilemmas of children. But on the ground layers of all of this, if looked at through the prism of history and the sociology of Barbadian identity, would be clear for all to see. It's clear for all to see that the remnants of slavery continuously, has seeped into our DNA, into who we are, or rather who we are not. For example, why would you have had your ancestors being shipped over here on slave ships, and then you frolic and mischaracterize the histrionics of what slavery has been into what slavery is now, with your behavior on things like the Jolly Roger and other things? I mean, I've listened extensively to most bloggers. I listen to everybody that comes to bring a story, or tell a story. And, I want to say that in this state, Patrick King is 100% right. Sherry, we have to at least come to the agreement that there is a problem, and that the problem can't be solved with making it into a political dynamic when it has spiritual and sociological underpinnings that, basically that have enveloped a system that offers a poor value system. The construct of where our children find themselves, I agree with Patrick King, is premised on a construct of not just poor in wealth, but poor poverty of values. And until we can address that, the adults can look down in the face it down, stare it down, and address that value system predicated on entities like Beijing 2, which continuously misogynizes Barbadian women and kick them out into left field, right? Until we can address those issues, there's a whole lot of issues wrapped around what's going on with Barbadian children losing themselves and basically growing biologically outside of themselves. The psychology of the Barbadian child is a psychopathy that needs to be looked at in a psychological and sociological way. And there's nothing standing between the Barbadian child. I'm talking now about the pulpit preachers, the clerics, and speaking truth to power as it relates to the Barbadian DNA that's enshrined in Barbadians since the slaveocracy. And until we're able to talk about that and stop BSing around, it's all a bunch of foolishness. We can point fingers at the messenger, but we better start listening to the friggin' message. Don't look at the messenger. Patrick King is a messenger. Sherry Veronica is a messenger. Look at the message. Listen to the message. Because in there, reverberating around somewhere, is a truth. Are we ready to listen to the truth? Or are we ready to deny the truth and find ourselves shackled to the ball and chain mentality of a plantocracy, a new plantocracy? And that's where we find ourselves, Sherry Veronica.
Oh, I know.
We don't want to look at the truth. We don't want to look at the truth. And until we're able to establish that truth, is there a problem with Barbadian children? Yes, like children everywhere else. But children everywhere else, except in North American, African American children everywhere else basically have healthy, normative upbringings. Barbadian children have been subjected to a ruinous system of chattel slavery. No, I didn't say past ruinous situation of chattel slavery. I put it in its currency, in its current context, because it still is emblematic of what's happening to Barbadian children to this day. And this blog, this Naked Departure, was the first blog of any sort to have brought that situation to fruition. Everybody else danced around it, just like they danced around the 11 plus exam, just like they danced around a plethora of different issues dealing with the Barbadian identity. If we understand the Barbadian identity, if we understand the sociological makeup of the country, it goes a long way to stemming the problems that face Barbadians to this day. Why Barbadian men behave the way that they do? Why are Barbadian women perverting themselves all over social media, and leaving something that's not pride and industry or pride in industry, but it's pride in the lewdness, in the salaciousness that is pervasive.
I agree.
It is pervasive.
I agree. I've spoken about it so much. There's nothing more I can add to that. But I agree with you. I thought that salient issues that are not being addressed were not addressed, and things that are still in draft format were being looked at and being held as though it was all in like a done deal, when they know that their main focus is they do not like Mia Motley. So like Patrick King, I think it was politically motivated, and I think that it was also motivated as a business kind of setup where people can give up cars and solicit work. Just go about through the crowds and solicit work. It was not about children. It was not about the children. And like I said, there's nothing more I can add because I've spoken about it. Even today, I spoke about that. So if you want to end it there, I can end it there. But
Mia Motley, Cynthia Bradshaw, no female member of the Barbados Labour Party, no member of the political establishment, and I have criticized them, and probably will in the future, because criticism, that good criticism, is
you went away, Victor.
in a democracy. But My point is, those people that these people are attempting to target, were attempting to target on the 10th, none of those people behave miscreant in public. None of those people. The miscreant behavior that's appearing in public, the pornographic videographies of individuals in public are mostly Bajan females with their faces being shown. And it's not starting in the schools with the school teachers. It's not starting in there, as Patrick King alluded to. It's starting in the home. Let's talk about it in the home. And these idiots that's out there criticizing Patrick King on social media, you got it wrong. You got to be big enough to take yourself in an outer body experience that leads to your spirituality. I ain't talking about no damn religion. And look at the reality of what's in the message and not the messenger. When Barbadians can separate the two ideologically, the messenger from the message, that's when we know that we are headed in the right direction. And if you keep returning to the scene of your crime, the scene of your crime, Barbadians, was ships like the Jolly Roger. Historically speaking, why don't we have members of the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill, the historical types, right? The historical types at the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill. Why don't we have these people talking about the history?
They need to keep their jobs.
In history.
They need to keep their jobs. They need to keep their jobs, okay?
Right? That has kept Barbadians linked to the plantations. No matter what, you can move away from the British Empire system, the empire system of what Barbados was supposed to have been. What about what Barbados is right now? If you don't have the white man to blame, the European to blame for the construct of your society, then who else is left to blame? So when you look in the mirror, the only person left to blame is you. And if the only person left to blame is you, what are you going to do about changing what is? Because what is, guess what? What is. So we got to change that narrative. You can't blame Mia Motley for this. You can't blame Cynthia Bradshaw for this. You can't blame the Ministry of Education for this. You can't blame school teachers for this. And you got parents sitting on their lazy asses at home, not correcting, not remedializing the problems that their children face because the parents are the problems and the children are raising themselves. So let's talk about that. And you Bible-thumping preachers that stand up there in the pulpits every Sunday, do your damn jobs. Get off your lazy butts and start having your hands out, waiting for the people to give you offerings or whatever, when your responsibility, if you believe in what you say from your pulpit every single Sunday, is to lead the people to a higher place and a higher space. Do your damn jobs. Everybody's deflecting. Everybody's looking at somebody else to do his or her job. Do yours. That's where it starts. Excellence is doing the right thing when no one is looking. Be excellent. And stop pointing fingers at everybody else when you do nothing to solve the dilemma that faces the youngest, most vulnerable minds in Barbados. Barbados is youth. That's all I got to say about that.
Thank you so very much, Victor. This is Sherry Veronica, Naked Departure Radio.